Well, good morning and welcome to another Costa Women Hangout with me, Fiona Catchpole. And I have everybody's always special. I always say that everybody's special. There's a super special person that I'm going to speak to today, someone very close to my heart, and who's rocking and rolling in Marbella and really putting things on the map here. And I can't wait to speak to her. Good morning, Nicole King.
Good morning, Fiona Catchpole. Ask Cybergram. Lovely to be with you.
Yeah, cool. How are you feeling being on the other side?
Nervous.
The camera.
It's different. It's really different. When you're in control, that's nerve-wracking as well, particularly on the television. Not the radio, but the television is still nerve-wracking. But being interviewed as well.
It's okay. I'll be gentle with you. I did tell one of the ladies the other day, I'm no Jeremy Paxman, so it's okay. You're safe.
Paxman is. I'm so out of the English world.
Oh, of course, yes, because you're so Espanol now, aren't you? You know, it's like, listen, we're talking along here. Obviously, we know each other, and I know about you and what you get up to here, as it were. But tell everybody else in Costa Women World a little bit about Nicole King and who you are and what you're doing here.
Well, I've been living in Madrid for 20 years, but I've been in Marbella since 1965 when I was 3. And I know Marbella really well. I've seen the changes. Plus, I'm very used to Spanish administration from my work, which is introducing new brands into Spain, which I started back in 1990. We introduced Walt Disney and Worth Global Star Network, which is a trends thing online, which we had to get the whole of Spain connected on internet to, including
I've heard that story. Let's just pause there a moment. You are practically single-handedly responsible for getting Spain online, isn't it? That's how the story goes.
It's really weird how things work, but we were hired by an English company, also through contacts of what we'd done previously, and they asked if we could help them get this trends online, but this was to replace all the way people normally get trends. They took photographs all around the world of the shop windows, so buyers could be in New York and Paris, just sitting in their offices, but fashion also applies to homewares, textiles. So we suddenly found ourselves with all the major designers. Corte Inglés used to make their orders manually, and at that time they had these huge pieces of paper that they would fill in. So to sell a trend service online, first we had to connect them to internet, and it was the textile industry that got on board first, because that's what we do. It's amazing what you have to do in a developing country to introduce things that have been in England for 5 years and maybe the States for 10.
Yeah, absolutely. We do tend to be playing catch up a lot with people on the other side of the pond, though, don't we? But when I say, I mean here in Spain particularly. So what do you do here now? I mean, it's Nicole King and you are on the radio and the television. Tell us, it's like just a year now since the project almost started. Yes. Tell us how you got involved with that.
We came down from Madrid, where we've been for 20 years based for the company, to basically study the possibilities of the foreigners on the coast. There's a lot of good money, and Spain's in crisis, and Madrid was very noticeable 3 years ago. So we thought, okay, well, there's international possibilities right here. Let's go see what's going on. And at the same time, Marbella is lovely and we have a home here. And it was while we were actually looking for our own businesses and our own clients and doing our market research that, having been in Marbella my whole life, I could see that we were no longer one community. We were lots of individual communities and nationalities, all separated with their own bars, restaurants, shops, life. And at the same time, I could see that the Spanish Marbella wasn't getting any benefit really from all this good international money that is flowing around amongst the tourism.
So it was all sort of like keeping amongst ourselves, I suppose. Is that what you identified?
So
yeah.
I didn't like it, but it seemed that it was a shame that Spain wasn't getting a benefit of, even Marbella, of that money, that the Spanish weren't realizing the opportunities they had, the ones I could see. At the same time, and it's curious how things happen, I saw a post on Facebook in Spanish, very boring format of the mayoress's day. And I noticed a few times, I couldn't believe how many things she did a day. And I'm used to Marbella's mayors and mayoresses stealing, only being seen when there are flighting between one restaurant and the other, gracing themselves. And so to suddenly see this woman actually working was like, took me aback. And that's really, when I put it together, if we could get everyone together under one umbrella and achieve all these things I could see, which was give the town hall a voice so people could see that, wow, there's actually worth looking at because they're actually doing something. Marbella's better. I even stopped coming. Dingy. But that was because everyone was stealing the money and nothing could happen in Marbella. But since we've had this government, I suddenly realized, I don't think politics, I don't think anyone even thinks there's a town hall of government in Marbella. I didn't until that day. And I speak Spanish and I come from Madrid. But when I'm here, it's like, holiday. So it's like, you don't put it together. And when I put it together, it made sense to say to the town hall, I've come from Madrid. I understand how the administration works. I've changed the law to make it obligatory in Spain to wear seatbelts during pregnancy, because before it wasn't. And that was to another client and another project that we introduced, Be Safe Pregnant, the seatbelt for pregnant women. But we had to change the law for that one because the women didn't even wear seatbelts. Babies were brought out of hospital in baskets that were positioned between the front chair or seat of the car and the windscreen. This is my Spain. I've lived this Spain. So putting that together in Marbella, I could see the media is the easiest way to get to people. At the same time, we could make people realize, hopefully, that there's a town hall and there's an actual, not political, I don't get into the politics, but there's an actual working government here that is actually doing things for us. We've got the boulevard finished. There's a Paseo Marítimo being finished. They're paving roads. Even Ros was saying, because she uses a wheelchair, that you ring up the number that they say, and she rang up, and the next day they had actually changed the pavement she'd mentioned she couldn't get to. They are responding.
So now you have this incredible project called, you have the radio, Me Marbella, with Nicole King, and then you have the television Marbella Now. How is that all going? I mean, I know this is a leading question, I know, but I need you to tell all the Costa women how it's going.
It's so exciting. It was a year and a half actually setting up from proposal to launching the radio, which shows you that it's not have an idea, and it's in this country, maybe every country, I don't know in other countries if you could get this far, but from suggesting to launching on the 6th of June 2014 the radio, we started with just an hour, 3 days a week, and now to say we have 5 days a week radio, Monday to Friday, 3:30 to 5:30. We do at the moment do repeats on Mondays because I take a day off to do my business and to catch up and organize and book in different people. And Wednesdays because we record our TV program. And at the moment, as we are using public television and services, it's already amazing that we get as much as we do because it's the same plantilla, the same staff and timetable that they've always worked, now adding in all this extra programming. And to say that we started the television in October, that's Marina Robertson presents the summary of the news in English from half an hour on Thursdays on the television from 7 to 7:30. And that's basically a summary of all the things that Marbella TV puts on all the week, which is the events that they do, everything that's going on. And a lot of laws and local regulations, the ignorance isn't an excuse in the sense if you don't know, it doesn't save you from a fine. So it's worth watching just to see, get them on catch up on internet as well through the RTV Marbella TV website.
It's turning into what we would describe, or some of us have said, it's like the UK programme This Morning, which is on every day in the UK, Monday to Friday. But you've managed to very cleverly, and with no previous experience in television, but just from your heart, create this wonderful synopsis in an hour of variety and information in English for the international community, and I'm incredibly proud of you.
Thank you. And my biggest coup is Ask Cyberbrand is also now part of this incentive. That's the best thing. The idea is that together we are better. And I know this. I know that when we introduced brands into Spain 20 years ago, at first you do advertising, but how much advertising can you throw at something? And that gets very expensive. So we worked out a plan to introduce companies into Spain using the infrastructure. Start on the inside out. So if someone's pregnant for Be Safe, to put thousands of adverts in thousands of magazines, they're not even pregnant the next day. Who knows? But the gynecologists, the midwives, those people who are there every single day. And the town hall is basically the same. It's fine. What do we have in common? Which is very difficult with 140 nationalities. But it suddenly came to me. We love Marbella. We do have something in common. And so if you take, we love Marbella, we love the life we have here, and you take into consideration also that together we're better. We've got 27 kilometers of coastline. If we actually together promote each other, we can only be exceedingly successful. It takes 3 years to introduce a brand into this country, to get recognition sell-through. So in 27 kilometers, if we all put our minds to it, I thought it would take 1.5 years. Well, we've got radio, TV. I think more and more people are getting involved, coming back to the question. And the more of us that get involved, we had Marina Nitzak from Lux Marbella doing an outside broadcast, and Arda, and all these different people getting involved, you coming to the program. These things make it that it works. And that's why this snowball is rolling so quickly. It's not even 1 year. And yet we've already got radio, programs on TV, and obviously projects to grow a lot more.
Yeah, now I want to touch on Chromogen in just a minute, but while we're still talking about Marbella now, we need to mention the hashtags and selfie videos, because it's not just for businesses. This is the community to get involved and share what's going on in Marbella. So we're encouraging people in any social media platform to use the hashtag Marbella Now or Me Marbella, so we can find you and share what you're doing. Even if you're down at the beach, do a little selfie video and send it in and tell us what you love about Marbella. We want more of that, don't we?
We certainly do. Cameron Graham, who's from MarbellaFamilyFun.com, is great because she gets little videos, and she gets, when she's somewhere, kids, people from Marbella and herself, and when she's been abroad. And that's what we want. Wherever you go, even if you're in Marbella or you're in Granada skiing, or you've gone to Sevilla for the day, nowadays with the technology of the iPhone and that type of Android phone, if you put it horizontal, it's very important horizontal. And you take yourself a little selfie cam or get someone to hold it for you, it's nice. And then you get to see yourself. You can send that to your friends and family around the world, and it's just a way of sharing. And that's a lovely thing, because we have so many followers around the world, people who come to Marbella, love Marbella, want to come back to Marbella, and it's a way for them to either get involved sending us videos of themselves, but they watch and listen to the radio and watch the TV programs because it makes them feel at home. Who doesn't feel at home when they're back?
It's always nice then to have that snippet as well. If you're not here in Marbella at the moment, you can catch up with what is going on and see, you know, it's a nice, like you said, nice family bringing us together. Now, before we go, I need to speak to you about the other passion in your life, obviously, apart from your children, Bobby, the dogs, TV, radio, Costa women, of course.
The horse, the chinchilla.
Is Chromogen. Chromogen is something that's very close to your heart. Tell us how you got involved with Chromogen and how it's evolved now here in Spain.
Okay, well, the reason it's so close to my heart, it's the only project that we have done in our company that was actually commissioned by our daughter. She, at 9 years old, was dyslexic and suffering so much, diagnosed as lazy, stupid. I mean, there were no words under the sun, and yet we knew this wasn't true. She did worn glasses. I mean, just we went through hell and back. We gave her extra lessons since she was 3, because I'd had difficulties actually in the beginning learning. Once I got it, I get it good. But I'm a bit and so she really went through hell. My father read an article in the Daily Mail, and it said miracle glasses. And I thought, oh yeah, another miracle. I didn't really take much notice. In the end, I had one day time, I read it, and I tried to get it in Spain. It was impossible, no one knew anything. And Bobby said, just go check it out. I was like, I can't go, I'm too busy. And he said, go, just check it out. We walked in it was not easy to get there. It was I went to the laboratory, the main specialist laboratory, optic laboratory in England. We flew, we rented a car, we drove. We got there, we walked in, we saw these full size as we walked in. As she looked at me like, for God's sake, what are you going to do to me now?
Mother, what are you doing? That's the sort of thing I get from my kids.
So much. This is what people don't understand. These kids, I went to see neurosurgeons. You don't know what to do because it doesn't make sense. They can't read. They say 2 and 2 is 4. What's 2 and 2? I don't know, Mummy. And yet you can see that they're capable. It's very difficult, and they don't have to be dyslexic. As I say, I was categorized as just lazy in my day. So when we got there and she sat down and they did these tests on her with some lenses, and she looked at me, she goes, "Oh, mummy, the words are stuck to the page." And what do you mean the words are stuck to the page? She says, "Yes, they were moving." And when she explained, obviously we ordered the lenses. I didn't know what to do. I said, just make them. They did this. And then when she got the lenses on the way home, I said, "Well, let's read your book now." And she goes, "Now I've seen what you've seen. Until I'm getting those glasses, I'm doing nothing." Then she's hysterical. Ring them. When are they coming? When are they coming? Within a month of using her lenses, she went from saying, "Mummy, how many words do I have to read?" to, "Mummy, how many chapters did you say I had to read today?" I remember hearing it and I stood there like, what? And that's how it started, because I then went to see her logopeda, her extra teacher. We did a system called Ron Davis, which was 500,000 pesetas. We're talking about like 3,000 euros for a week of plastilene exercises. So I went to see these people and said, "Oh my God, look what's happening." And when they saw it worked, they stopped being interested. I was,
Oh
what?
no.
I was suddenly behind the curtain. They were living off our problem. And the fact that suddenly my daughter could read, and the things that came out of her mouth, Fiona, when you'd say like, "Well, what was it like? Tell me what it was like." And one day she got so frustrated, obviously understand us. We're doing like, we're gone crazy. And so she said one day frustrated, "Well, I'll tell you what it's like, Mum. Without the glasses, it's children playing in the playground. The words, the letters are everywhere. They disappear, they jump. When I put the glasses on, the kids go into classes, sit down, they're in a line, straight line, and I read." And so when people weren't interested, we do highs and lows, which is our good suggestion, my biggest suggestion. With our children, every night at dinner, we've always done the high and low, the best moment of the day and the worst moment of the day, because it gives you a chance to get a grip on what's going on. And my low of the day was nobody was interested in Chromogen. So I said to Ashley, "I'm sorry, my low of the day is I've tried." And she said, "Well, what are you going to do about it?" I said, "I already work 18 hours a day. We're already doing Chromogen, Be Safe, and this." So I said, "I already work 18 hours a day." So she looked at me and she goes, "Oh, so you don't care as much about the children as the pregnant women?" And I sat there and looked at her and was like, "Okay, let's do it." So Ashley and I started Chromogen, and we decided to save the children. And now we have 100 opticians in Spain that prescribe these lenses. And I just the other day got a message from a woman who didn't dare try it because her logopeda heard this. And all the people who live off the problem had said, "Oh no, don't try it." But she was so hysterical that she rang here. I rang her at 10 o'clock at night because Bobby insisted that she was so hysterical I couldn't be too tired. We spoke for an hour and a half. She then took her daughter to Optica 2000 that belongs to Corte Inglés and did the test up in the north of Spain. And 3 months have gone by, and she sent me, which is on the Facebook of Chromogen Spain, a message to say that in the first exams when Lucia didn't got the lesson lenses, she didn't pass her exams, and she got caught 2 up on the when they do catch up. But on the third, 3 months later, or the 4 months later, she passed absolutely everything. And they would just
listen, I think what we should do is probably have a dedicated chat with, say, like yourselves, and maybe find some Costa women who are experiencing difficulties, you know, or their children, and we can maybe do a talk about Chromogen and talk about the issues involved with dyslexia and things like that. How would you like to do that in a couple of weeks, if we can sort that out?
I would love to. I don't know why. When we invested basically everything we had to bring this and shed the word, is because we couldn't believe that anyone wouldn't want this. And so we did everything. Things that we knew we shouldn't do. We used to put money in advertising and magazines because we had to save the children immediately. And then you realize that there's, I suppose, like in every industry, why isn't there a cure for cancer? Why are there, we could see the children being medicated with Ritalin and Rubifen and these things. And in America, there were blogs and webs of all the horrors going on. And yet they decided with the tobacco. When they realized in Spain no one could understand all that stuff, they lost their market in Spain and laboratories in America, and they came to Spain. And we couldn't stop that either. Because how can we fight that? If you've got laboratories paying doctors and teachers and this is good. it's a really weird world backstage.
It is a worldwide epidemic with things like that, though,
world.
isn't it? It happens
Yes,
with the food industry and all sorts of things.
There's so many things, but the reason we're so passionate in this one is because our daughter Ashley commissioned this project. We've done it with her. She's put her face out there. Even at the beginning, when she was 9, and then on the Spanish television, on TV1, the main channel, obviously we told everybody, and they interviewed Ashley. And when I was bathing, and we have a TV in the bathroom, bathing her to go before school, and we had the channel on. She normally watched The Nanny at that day, but to get a good laugh to start the day off. But we had the TV on because we knew she was going to be on. And they finished a little interview with, well, if that's true, well, this little 9-year-old who apparently is, stupid, sits to me and says, what do you mean if that's true? And so Ashley was very upset. What do you mean, you didn't believe me? Well, I had to go upstairs to our office, and I rang the newspaper, the television channel, and I spoke to the reporter, and I said, you may not put this on again. It was going to be on all day. They repeat these things. And I said, you can't put this on again. Mm-hmm. And she is beside herself that you don't believe her. I had no thought that letting Ashley speak, she wanted to speak, that this could happen. And suddenly now my daughter's on national television, and they're saying, well, if this is true, and Ashley's taken that as like, they don't believe me. So when I tried
well, listen, darling, we are going to have to cut you off.
Okay.
in true TV style, because we have run over, and I can see somebody waiting to come in and speak to me.
But that's good then. I can't, once I start on that, I can't stop because another program.
I know, I can see how passionate you are. But listen, thank you ever so much for taking time out this morning to share your love of that with the Costa women. And we are going to be seeing much more of you. Sorry, say again?
As an Anna Costa woman, and that was the best thing I ever did.
We didn't actually get a chance to talk much about Costa women, but that's... Look, listen, thank you ever so much for your time this morning, Nicole, and thanks for a great chat this morning, and we'll speak to you very, very soon.
I see you on my bear now.
Okay, see you then. Bye-bye.